guys, today I'm going to be talking about Cindy Sherman. Cindy Sherman is an American photographer. She's not just a photographer, but she's also a model and a director in her own work. In the 1970s, she started off as a painter but later turned to photography because she felt like, in quotes, there was hardly anything more to express via painting. She lives and works in New York. She went to school at University of New York and graduated in 1976. After that, she slowly rose to fame in the art world with her series of black and white photography. Her work mainly focused on women, and there was really no show of men at all. This work of hers was called Untitled Film Stills, which advanced the concept of narrative photography. The Untitled Film Stills was a suite of 70 black and white photographs, which was made over the course of 3 years. In this, Sherman was posed in the guises of various genetic female film characters. After a while of doing black and white photography in the early 1980s, she moved to the concept of color film. Her work was very well loved, and she earned a bunch of awards for her work. The self-portraits she would do would come to reflect a fascination of how women are portrayed in the visual language of film and advertising. Her art is influenced by feminism and explores what it means to be under the gaze of oneself and others. She is best known for the practice of photographing herself under different guises. When asked who influenced her in the art world, she would say it was Warhol. As we know, Cindy Sherman works with portraits, and her inspiration, Warhol's, also did. He did something called photo booth self-portraits. Sherman really took advantage of the concept of a photo booth to explore role-playing and modes of self-representation. When Sherman was young, she found a fascination for disguises, and when she got older, she was able to put action to that fascination with a camera. She represents a good amount of historical periods in her artwork, which include the Renaissance, neoclassical, and more. She has proved herself to be the master of self-morphing and utilizing old-fashioned concepts. Sherman liked a challenge when it came to her work. Her way of art can be difficult to perfect sometimes, and it could be easy with the help of Photoshop and other resources. But she doesn't like the idea of that. She wants for her work to be as raw and hands-on as possible, but will go to Photoshop if she really needs to. The artwork she did that I chose to speak about was the Untitled Film Stills. The poses she did were stereotypical female roles that were influenced by the 1950s and the 1960s holiday films. This project of hers depicts cliches or feminine types such as housewife, girl on the run, office girl, and a bunch more. In all of the pictures, none of the women were facing the camera. She makes these characters face away from the camera on purpose. This project doesn't have any specific underlying theme or singular character that would be the main subject. She would do different makeup looks for each character because she thought makeup would help identify what kind of woman she is based on different looks. When working on this project, in quotes, she said, "I suppose unconsciously or semi-consciously at best, I was wrestling with some sort of turmoil of my own about understanding women. The characters weren't dummies, they weren't just airhead actresses, they were women struggling with something, but I didn't know what. The clothes make them seem a certain way, but then you look at their expression, however slight it may be, and wonder if maybe they are not what the clothes are communicating. I wasn't working with a raised awareness, but I definitely felt like the characters were questioning something, perhaps being forced into a certain role. At the same time, those roles are in film. The women aren't being lifelike, they are acting. There are so many levels of artifice. I like the whole jumble of ambiguity." As she continued to evolve this project, she transitioned into color, and her new approach was much more intense, and she stopped shooting at physical locations. With the new focus, it was showing how lonely the women were, and they weren't allowed outside. New shots would have no sign of outdoors, and the women's facial expressions in the photographs got more intense. Throughout this project, Sherman shows all the different concepts that a woman can become. These images don't just only represent the traditionally prescribed boundaries of feminine character, but it also focuses on the image of possibility for women.